Are we supposed to be quiet right now?
Yes.
He's okay. He can make noise. We can't.
Hello and welcome to Gamersledge Podcast. Come on in and sit down, relax, have yourself a fine micro-brewed cold brew coffee from your nearest local retailer. My name is Mark, I'm one of your hosts. Joining us tonight, to my right, actually for you guys on your screen just below me, it is of course Mitchell.
Hello.
And below him, the man that started the Mitchell plan, it's Matt.
Howdy.
And last but not least, he's semi in the dark, but always in our hearts, it's Dave.
Cheers.
So we have a ton of stuff to talk about tonight, which I will do as soon as I can figure out how to get rid of this darn screen, which I still can't do. It's phenomenal.
Nice. That's great.
It's fantastic.
It's wonderful radio.
Yeah, no. Yep, I can do this. Nope, that puts me...
So, do I have time to get more ice? Is that what you're saying?
No, we're good. So let's go around the room, talk about what we've been doing. It's been a couple weeks since we did our Game of the Year show. Let's start actually with Mitchell. Mitchell, what have you been up to?
All right. Well, I've spent most of my time playing Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Donna. Firewatch.
Make him say it again. There you go.
Sorry.
I think you killed Dave.
What?
First one was Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Donna. Then Firewatch, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, some Rocket League, The Last Guardian, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Yokai Watch 2, Bony Spirit, Monster Hunter Stories, Smite, Subnautica, some Smash Bros. For the Wii U, Pokemon Ultra Moon, and Fire Emblem Echoes.
Can you tell the
think
kids
that's
on
everything.
college break?
Let me just say this is the lifespan trade-off. He has no money, but he's got all the time in the world.
I hate you.
And we have the money and zero time in the world.
Just know that I hate you, and I mean I'm not.
And that first one, his game clock is almost 55 hours.
Yeah,
50 hours.
Not even a joke. I
Yeah.
really hate you.
Well, so what's been your favorite out of the bunch, Mitchell?
Ys 8, probably.
And did you play any of the rest of the series?
I played Ys 7.
And do you like this one better or worse than E7?
That's hard because despite being part of the same franchise, the structure of it is very different between the two. So I kind of like Ys 7 more, but it doesn't mean that I don't like Ys 8. Ys 8 is fantastic. I really, really, really like it as well, once it really gets into the story of it. It just has a bit of a slow start to it.
Well, as long as we're not talking about EZ, I'm fine with it. So that's good. I think I made a reference he didn't get, so that's good.
Yeah,
I
think
like
so,
it.
but
I like it. Have you been watching anything?
Black Mirror, Oh, gods, I didn't write down what I was watching. Black Mirror, watched the first Anne of Green Gables yesterday.
The old PBS one.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
Gosh. Most of the stuff I've been watching with my dad, and he has that written down, so we'll get around to that when we get to him.
Wow, he's using the cliff note of what I watched. All right, I'm good with that. Well, Matt, let's get to you then.
All right, so my list is not as large as his. I played and finished Inside. Holy messed up game.
That's the sequel. That's the sequel to Limbo, is it not?
It's Limbo-esque. I honestly don't know if it's the same developer or not, but it's very much in the same gameplay style. I actually prefer Limbo to Inside. Inside is really like
insanity for the sake of insanity.
Yeah, I mean the first 4/5 of the game is like okay, this is still where's this? Oh my gosh, what did you do? I think I literally said that when the thing happened. So yeah, the last 5th or so of that game is just I don't even know what it was, and I don't know why I did it. I also finished Metroid Samus Return, and that's not to say it's not a good experience or to play it. I mean, it's short. If you can pick it up for fairly cheap, Inside is still a decent thing to play. I just have no idea what in the world was going on at the end there. Metroid Samus Returns, which is the pretty much it's a remake of 2, but it's a remake in the way that really it's completely a new game, but replaces Metroid 2. Going through and reading the list of things that they changed and updated, it's like I don't think I could actually play the original Metroid 2 anymore because it's just that old of a game, and just the conveniences and the ease of life or the quality of life changes that this one brings into it.
Yeah, but the original Metroid 2 was a Game Boy. Game Boy game.
Yeah.
So
no map.
Yeah. And an early Game Boy game at that. I mean, it's not exactly.
Yeah, it was what, maybe second year, maybe.
Yeah, it's rough.
But this one's very good. Very much in the style, I would say, of how Zero Mission was done, in terms of things. But it also does recognize that Prime is now a part of the canonical storyline, and some of the stuff in there does pay a bit of a tribute to the Prime series. But yeah, it took me 22 hours to finish the game. You have to beat it in less than 8 to get the second ending display, and you have to beat it in less than 4 to get the best ending display. The ending of the game is the same regardless. It's just, that final picture like Metroids do. I did, however, 100% it, so I unlocked all of the hidden Chozo story thing that they've got in there. So that was a really good game. It was really fun. There were a couple of bosses that I thought I was going to throw the 3DS through the window on, but I persevered and made it. I threw in Final Fantasy 15 to go ahead and try episode Ignis, and I got sucked into the Assassin's Festival instead. So I got maybe halfway through the Assassin's Festival content and then got sucked into something else and haven't gone back and finished that. So I still have a bunch of odds and ends stuff of Final Fantasy 15 to go back in. And
have you tried multiplayer yet?
Not since the beta, no.
The UI is still horrible, but it is actually somewhat fun. So if you're looking for multiplayer with Final Fantasy 15, which I know you're not, but
I'm not. I'm kind of done with the game too, but I really do want to play episode Ignis because I think that's a very interesting part of the story. So I just got to get to it. I also started Firewatch. I don't know. I'm not very far yet, but it's an interesting game. I'm liking it so far, so we'll see. And then the other big chunk of my time, I played a fair amount of Horizon Zero Dawn during the break. I finished out the Frozen Wilds story section. I still have the post-story hunt to do because those things are resource hogs, and resources in the frozen wilds are pretty limited compared to the mainland.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to go do some stuff in the regular part of the world so I can build up some supplies and then go and finish off the final hunt up there to tie that off, and do the hunting grounds, because those hunting ground challenges up there are insane. And then TV. Well, actually, before we do TV, I'll do the other things I wrote down. I built a Lego set. I assembled a grill. And I put together a metal paper craft, if that makes any sense. They're pieces that you punch out of a flat sheet of metal. It's very shiny, chromy. I don't have it here. I took it to work, but I'm not sure what the metal is, but it's printed on, so it's stamp printed. So it's got the designs on it and perforations where you bend it. And then it's, tab slot, you put a tab on one piece into a slot of the other and you bend it over, and you keep doing that until you end up with something that looks like in this case, a AT-AT from Star Wars. So, yeah, that was fun, but it took like 3 hours to do one of them. I've got 3 more, and I decided to set aside 3. Now some of that was learning time, figuring out how to do it and stuff, because the instructions on all that stuff is always horrible. So
yeah, those things scare. I saw them. Those things scared me.
They're a little intimidating, but now that I've got one out of the way, of course, that's the easiest one. The rest of them have a lot more curves, and curving and metal doesn't work well, I've found in life, unless you have the right tools, and well, this doesn't give you any tools. So yeah, let's see. Then Black Mirror season 4, we finished that. We went through the whole thing of that. The back half of season 4 is much better than the front half, in my opinion. The last episode, I've got a few complaints about, but overall, it was really good. Hopefully we can get off these recurring themes. Like season 3 and season 4 both seem to keep on dipping into the same concept for the entire season, which got a little frustrating. But at least they're still telling pretty decent stories. Watched the first 4 episodes of The Toys That Made Us, which is all that's available at the moment. And that got me really thinking, as I'm thinking about the other stuff that they could put in there, it is, that I don't know how to say this without potentially offending someone. So if anyone's offended when I say this, too bad. I'm trying really hard to think of quote unquote girl toys that could
That's why I'm like
in there.
My Little Pony is the only thing that or a compilation of My Little Pony and Strawberry Shortcake or something like that.
My Little Pony was actually in the intro.
In the intro, so I'm pretty sure My Little Pony will be in there, because that's been in around a long time and had a couple of revivals similar to what they've done with the other ones. Obviously, they had Barbie in episode 2, so they blew the big one right out the gate. They had She-Ra in the He-Man episode, so that kind of a little bit. I'm guessing one could be Cabbage Patch.
No, according to their
See, now I don't do research.
Yeah. According to the
was,
Facebook page, it was they want to do Cabbage Patch Kids, but they haven't secured the
rights.
interviews or whatever.
Yeah, there was a lot of them that were coming up, and people were saying like, "Oh, you should do this," and they're like, "Oh, well, if we get a season 2, we definitely want to pursue that." We know they're wrapping up production on Transformers,
which means the remaining 4 episodes are going to be out, I don't know, this time next year?
Yeah.
No, they according to their Facebook page, they have it set so it's supposed to be first quarter. So I don't know if they had like all the footage already in the can and they're just doing post-production. And
first quarter, that's pretty aggressive. That'd be interesting to see if they make that. But.
Yeah, so I'm curious if they have all the interviews done and everything's already done and they're just doing post on everything.
Unless they meant their first financial quarter, which they actually do in the 3rd quarter. Let's see. We finished up the Orville. That is the best love letter to Trek ever.
I
had off to Seth. That is amazing what he did with that show.
I was actually surprised that they ended on kind of a down note. And I don't think that's a spoiler because once you see it all, I mean, it's still upbeat and positive, but it's the first time I think I've seen them deviate a little bit from because normally the season endings for Trek were either cliffhangers or positive feel good, like leave me until the next season kind of things.
Yeah, I think it works though, because I mean it was really it really works. You know, not saying any more because it gets spoilery.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's overall I don't, aside from the first 2 episodes, which now in hindsight fit because you've acclimated yourself to what this show is and it works. Those first 2 episodes where you're not really quite sure what the show is going to be were a little rough, but in retrospect, the whole thing really works well.
I'm just sad it was a short series. I hope that they come back with an actual full 27 plus episode season for it, but I doubt they will.
Yeah, I'm guessing
a lot of episodes for a show these days.
I'm guessing we'll see a 10 to 13 episode for season 2.
Probably.
Caught up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's like, you know, somehow they managed to just throw anything against the wall, and since that 1 episode early in season 1, it just sticks. You know, it seems like I can't believe that this pitch went through, right? You know, it's like who's in there getting this pitch for this storyline saying, you know what, that's perfect, that's what we're gonna do. You go, what the heck? You're insane. This doesn't make any sense.
Well,
but it worked.
What kills me though is that what they have chosen to do with them, I do not see how there is a team after the season.
Well, that's the thing. Right now, it's like I really seriously cannot see the outcome of this. I can't tell you where it's going. I can't even hazard a reasonable guess at this point. I mean, I could guess, but I don't feel very confident about any of those guesses. So good on them because they're not telegraphing.
Oh, no, they're not telegraphing at all. I mean, we know how it's got to end, and we know what has to happen, but how you get from here to there, I have no idea. No idea.
Exactly. And then, you know, kudos to, I totally forgot his name, Coulson's actor.
Philip Coulson.
Clark Gregg. No, something Gregg.
Yeah, Clark Gregg.
Yeah, he directed that last episode, so you know that was his first directorial thing. So
that was a good episode too.
It was a very good episode. So he might be the next Jonathan Frakes. You know,
he's awesome. That's all I know.
He's got to grow a beard first.
Yeah, true.
Jonathan Frakes.
Riker from Next Generation.
Okay.
All right, where's the mute button?
God, why is he here?
Yeah, you can blame that one on me.
Is he just here to flaunt all his game time in front of us?
Yes, pretty much. That's what he's here for.
Look at all my unlimited resources to game.
My wife has really been liking this next one, so we've been watching it. But The Good Doctor, that's the one about the autistic doctor, based on a Korean TV show.
Surprisingly solid show.
Yeah, no, that kid that's doing the main character is doing a really good job.
I wonder if the pitch for that show was, we want to do House if he was nice.
Or if you want to do House if he's socially awkward because he's medically incapable of being otherwise.
Because it's House, except he's not an asshole.
Well, sometimes he kind of is.
Yeah, sometimes he kind of is. Actually, that's
not his fault, though.
Yeah, but House was like.
But they threw a hard right in the story right now. I don't know if you're caught up, Mark, or not. But
I am not.
They've thrown a hard right in the story, and it's like, okay, I'm guessing how it's going to turn out, but for a first season twist or it's not really a twist, but it's a plot element.
Right.
It's kind of surprising, so that they took a risk on a show like this that quickly. So we'll see how it turns out. But yeah, I just caught that the other day, that based on the Korean TV drama something. I'm like, okay, how many American adaptations of Korean dramas are there? That's an interesting one.
I have to say that actual show is my tenuous hope, it gives me hope for Cloak and Dagger, because that is the same network that they're doing it on, and so I'm hopeful that means that they are holding all of their shows to that level of quality, because that is something that we did enjoy very much.
Yeah, no doubt. We are almost caught up on Star Wars Rebels. That show must be on break. We haven't had any new episodes recorded in a while. I think we've got one left for what's on the DVR. Still working through the last season of Star Trek Enterprise.
Wait, before you go on, I just wanted to point out one thing I noticed that they haven't done before. This is the first year that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is actually in the winter break.
Yep.
Normally it's been another series that's come in and filled the gap until we got back to S.H.I.E.L.D., but instead they're running straight through this time.
Because they did the other show first, because they had to line it up with the IMAX schedule.
Yeah, but nobody watched that show.
I didn't even watch it.
I did. Yeah. I watched the whole thing. No, we won't talk about it. That's why, though, because instead of having the show in the middle, they led with it. So. So then Star Wars Rebels, Star Trek Enterprise, and then I couldn't even make it through the whole first episode, but since Netflix was pushing it really hard, I decided to try to watch Devilman Crybaby. And in the words of what's his face from American Idol, that's going to be a no for me, dog.
What is this?
Good question. I have no idea, which is part of the reason why I stopped watching.
Because this sounds like something I'm about to turn on now.
No, it's an adaptation. Yeah,
well, go ahead. I didn't. Okay, the animation style is basically heavy metal-esque. Very simple, very, very messy is the way my brain interprets it, and that was turn off number one.
Okay, well, yeah, so far I'm on board.
So what it is it's a manga adaptation about a demon lord, if I remember right, and it's pretty freaking gory. So anyways, that's actually one that I have been waiting for. I did not know was out, so thank you, Matt. Now I have something else to watch that I can't get to.
It's on Netflix. I got to a point in the show where I'm just like, I kind of see what's going on here, but this isn't worth it. So, is it worth your time and money? Yeah, well, money if you already have Netflix, whatever. But time, give the first episode a try. You should be able to tell pretty early on whether this is for you or not. If I recall right, I think Nick Nick, did I get the right name? Saj, whatever his first name is.
Jeff.
Jeff. Where'd I get Nick from?
I have no idea. Nick's another guy.
I don't know. Yeah, Nick's the other
I don't remember who Nick's name actually was.
That was Cybernetic Empire, wasn't it?
Was it Nick Schrute?
Yeah. He was Cybernetic Empire, I think, wasn't he?
What was Nick's
name? I don't know if I know, dude.
As all one viewer has now left the building as we go through now.
Anyway, that's probably Ian. He probably had to go to bed.
Well, we should have one more soon.
Ian doesn't watch this.
He can't watch. He's in the middle of a bomb cyclone.
He just feels sorry for us.
Yeah, that's usually about it. He just wants someone to listen to his podcast. That's really it. One that comes out once a quarter. Sorry, Ian. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm sure there was something else all mixed in there, but that was all I could come up with.
Dave.
Yes.
You're in the hot seat. What have you been up to?
I'm on the couch. What are you talking about?
What have you been playing? What have you been watching?
Nothing. Actually, that's not true. It's because I've been playing the Vita. What the hell? What is wrong with me? So I found
it's a solid little system.
I found my Vita and I started playing it again, and I just started getting angry. Because it is really the best handheld ever made. I'm going to put it out there. It really is. The original Vita is the nicest hardware ever made. It is. Why are you doing that to your head? Usually you do that when you're embarrassed about me.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No. Just
Okay.
rubbing my eye. Sorry.
No, but seriously, it just made me kind of mad at Sony because it is seriously the best handheld hardware ever made. I'm not even, that's not hyperbole or anything like that. It is seriously sweet hardware. I love it. I started playing, I fired it up, and I was like, the first thing I did was I always fire up Lumines on it because that is just my like default game on any system, on the thing that I go to. And I started kind of messing around with that. I was playing Sound Shapes. Do you remember that game?
Yep.
It was on the
PS4 also.
Yeah, it was on the PS4. I originally played it on the PS4, but they also released it as a, well, for me, free because it was a cross-buy. But they eventually released it on the Vita, and I started playing it on there again. And I absolutely adore the Beck levels because it featured original music by Beck, and I love Beck. And it's the only place you can hear that music. So I just love playing those levels. And I went back to it on the Vita, and I played through them actually right before the podcast.
So today I learned something that I did not know. Beck was born into the Church of Scientology. Did not know that.
I did not know that either. That is unfortunate.
I just saw that somewhere.
Hey, you know something?
Oh, was that Will Smith debunking article?
Yeah, it was the Will Smith debunking article, yes.
I'm not going to hold that against him because I love it.
Oh, yeah, we watched Bright. I forgot that in the list.
Oh yeah, we did watch. Oh,
Right.
I also watched
That's great.
the end of
totally my turn.
asterisk ing world.
It's totally my turn right now.
No,
You guys are trampling on my flow.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
And I don't have much flow, so it's not nice to trample on what little flow I have this week. So, yeah, this week has been a total Vita resurgence as far as video games go. Because I haven't played my Switch, I haven't played my PS. I fired up the PS4, and I apparently failed at reinstating my Plus subscription, which I just re-enabled finally on the Vita. So that was bad. I haven't fired up the 3DS.
You did it on the Vita?
I did it on the Vita, yeah.
You know that's only for the Vita, right?
Yeah, you're a liar. I know how it works.
So don't forget to go get your January games now that you're a pluser again. You pluser.
I know you think you drunk, but I am not as.
Take me drunk, I'm home.
So I just finally re-enabled my Plus subscription, which I thought I did the other day when I fired up my PS4, but that didn't happen. Comics, Saga Volume 8 came out. As far as the trade paperbacks, and that's how I follow that one. So I got that and I read it, and it is this tragically beautiful, wonderful story as usual. I get that Matt thinks that it's fallen off the tracks a little bit, but something, it still has a lot of just extremely beautiful, heartfelt, heart-wrenching moments in it, and it's why I love the series so much.
Where does that one pick up? Not what issue number, what was happening?
When they're going to a planet that specializes in a certain operation.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's where it's picking back up. Okay, that's where you're at. So yeah, that's where it starts to pick back up.
Oh, okay. So this volume was actually really good, I thought. I really liked what was kind of going on in it. And I finished it, and it kind of it always, every time I finish one of these volumes, it leaves like a little hole in your heart. Like, that's a really good series. Makes you feel stuff. So that's kind of good. I'm also reading Altered Carbon before the Netflix series comes out. I finally finished Stranger Things Volume 2, Season 2. That was awesome. I really love that. Definitely check that out. I started Mindhunters tonight. Mindhunters. Do you know that one?
Are you saying a German word? Mindhunters?
Mindhunters.
Mindhunters?
Stop. No.
Yes, I watched it.
Mindhunters.
Hunters of the Mind. Yes.
Yes, it's the one that's Fincher is producing, directed 4 of the episodes, I think.
The whole series is amazing. You should watch it.
The first episode has me so I'm just so on board. I was hanging on literally every word. I love David Fincher intros. Can we talk about that for a second? He is the king of like movie intros, series intros. I guess he kind of perfected it on music when he did music videos. He just has his, you know something? I think it actually influenced my photography now that I look at it. He's got this kind of like industrial kind of close-up stuff with depth of perception things going on. And actually, I realized that totally influenced my brand of photography. So I thought that was kind of cool, actually. And I just kind of had that revelation tonight. The guy just does a great intro. It just reminds me back to like Seven, which is still one of my favorite movies of all time. If I'm only on the first episode of it tonight, if the rest of the series kind of keeps up where the first episode started, I'm going to love this series.
It gets better.
See, that's scary to me because I was like literally on. I was just hooked on every word. I mean, it was just such a great intro episode to me, as far as I'm concerned.
Which is funny because I think the last 2 episodes fell way off.
Well, I was going to address that because I know you feel that way. I do agree that it crescendos at around, what is that, the 7th episode? Were there 10? I can't remember now.
I don't remember. Yeah, but it's basically 2 from the end. Whatever.
Yeah. The 2 from the end are lesser, but I think that final one is actually a good place to stop.
Oh yeah, like, it was a good it tied up well, if you want to call that tying. It ended well. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
But I think that Matt is right in that I get why they did it the way they did, but really like the pinnacle is 7 and then 8 and then the rest is tying up everything from there. So yeah. But it's fantastic. You'll love it.
Let people like things.
And anything that has what's her face? I can't think of her name in it right now. That's just definitely worth watching.
Yes.
What are we? I've forgotten which show are we talking about?
Mindhunters.
Okay, something I haven't seen. Got it.
So I'm very excited about that. The toys with the toys we know. The toys we know. Is that what it is?
The toys that made us.
The toys that made us.
The alcohol we know.
Shush. The toys that made us. That series is phenomenal. Everybody needs to watch that. That is one of the most well done documentary series I've ever seen in my life.
That He-Man episode was laughing the entire time.
Seriously, that He-Man episode was amazing. I love the Barbie episode.
Yeah, that was really good.
There was some amazing stuff in that. That one woman was cutthroat, just amazing.
She reminds me a lot of my paternal grandma, actually.
She just had a smile on her face when she was talking about ruining a whole company. I love her. Like, she was the best. So I'm actually
chair sculpture in the background could have not been there.
Yeah, at first we were like, is that a sex doll? And then I'm like, I think it's a chair. I think it's a sex doll on a chair. And then I'm like, somebody's like, no, I think it's a chair. And then another one of us was like, no, I think it's an art piece. And I'm like, why? Why is it there in this documentary? That's so weird.
Your 80s toys documentary.
People had some weird stuff going on in that thing, and that's kind of why I love the show. And I think they just kind of threw that out there, and just like, no, we need that in the shot.
I do have to say that I think the He-Man was the best because that was the one I think that had the most information I didn't know.
And also the most hilarious information we didn't know.
Yeah. That's true. That too.
Because it was
see that toys have this whole Batman problem too, with who really created this toy. That kind of stuff exists there too.
Yeah, it was just amazing. I am so looking forward to the rest of that series. It's not even funny.
2026.
No. Apparently first quarter. Apparently next 3 months we're gonna have them all. So I'm looking forward to that. I saw a movie in the theater that I probably didn't tell anybody
Star
about.
Wars.
No, well, has it been that long?
Well, I don't know, not since the first time you saw it, but if you saw it again subsequently.
I haven't seen it again subsequently. But we did. Wow, I got through damn it.
Alcohol.
Yeah, I was really shocked I got through that word the first time. All the Money in the World. I saw that in a theater.
All the money in the world.
Yeah, it was that one that was initially had Kevin Spacey in it, and they reshot it with
Christopher Plummer.
Christopher Plummer. Which, first of all, good choice. That was like that should have been Christopher Plummer from the beginning. Like after seeing the movie, I'm like, wait, what? Spacey was doing that role? That was actually a really good movie. If you like drama, which I actually do like boring drama every once in a while, it was a fantastic movie. So Michelle Williams, she's like the best actress ever. Have you seen her in anything lately? Did you see Manchester by the Sea?
No.
Okay, if you need a movie that'll just punch you in the junk and just leave you on the floor in a puddle, watch Manchester by the Sea.
9 out of 10, Gamersledge.com.
No, it's seriously like it's seriously
That's
an
the
amazing
Casey
movie.
Affleck one, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's seriously an amazing movie. And Michelle Williams isn't even in it a lot, but she's in it in this there's this one scene which I was like annoyed she didn't get the Oscar just for this one scene. It is amazing. She's an amazing actress. And she was just phenomenal in this movie. You're going to see more of her. Like, she's just phenomenal. Worthy movie to catch. I mean, I don't know if you're going to bother catching a movie theater or anything, but definitely catch it when it comes on cable or something like that.
She's been. I'm trying to think if I've seen her in anything since Dawson's Creek, and I know she's been in stuff, but she's really been on kind of a slow burn. I agree. I think she's a really good actress.
Yeah, but the stuff she's been in, like, seriously, Manchester by the Sea, oh my God, there's one. I am about to cry right now just thinking about that scene. That is not a feel-good movie in any way, shape, or form.
It reminds me of when I went to go see The Green Mile in theaters.
Yeah, no, this is worse. This is so much worse. Green Mile is one of those movies where you're like, I mean, Green Mile. Manchester by the Sea was one of those movies where, like, I was actually expecting it to get worse, but what was on screen was bad enough.
Yeah, all I remember is me and my girlfriend at the time bawled our eyes out pretty much for 2.5 hours straight.
Yeah,
at the Green Mile.
Yeah, it's worse. Manchester by the Sea
makes me excited to go see it. Boy, howdy.
Yeah, go check it out. It's on Prime right now. I
kind of want to challenge myself and like watch both of them in a row and see if I don't cry.
Yeah, but you're a kid. You don't care. So it's just like, it doesn't matter. You'll be like laughing at it and be like, joking with your friends and stuff. And then like, in another 10 years, you'll be like, oh my God, my feelings have developed and now I'll cry at it.
My feelings?
Once you had your first life scare, like you're almost hit by a car or something and you realize the fragility of life. Until then, you're an invincible young person. So that's part of it, yeah. I think.
Yeah, it really sucks. Like, you need to have, like, people, like, die on you. And then you could have that. Which I hope you don't have. Oh my God, this just got really dark.
It got pretty dark.
You basically just
talk about your life
right
Dave.
now is what you just did. So
yeah, we don't wish this on you at all because, like, we're like friends with the people that would likely die in your life right now. So we don't want that to happen.
Or are one of the two.
Yeah. Can we move on?
Yeah. Did you watch anything else?
Something happy, perhaps.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Bong.
Bong.
Matt, you need to subtitle this episode when you do the post Manchester by the Sea.
Well, then, like, after the Z, say bong.
Yeah, exactly. Bong. There you go.
Oh God, I don't even know if I want to like cry right now or what.
Okay, so why don't I go through what I played in the last couple weeks so Dave doesn't break down and cry.
Life is so fragile, man. Just like totally embrace like the people you love.
Legalize weed.
Oh my god, I can't get this camera off me. To say
Camera off.
Not off me, but off the thing. I can't put myself up in the big
Whoa.
screen.
Whoa, get it off your thing. This is a family show.
As we talk about death and depression.
Yeah, exactly.
Dave, you should play Doki Doki Literature Club right now. I think that would be a really good match for you.
Yeah. I think that'd be a good thing. Hey, I got it. I figured it out. I still can't get rid of the screen, but that's all right.
Weebles don't look.
Weeble wobbles Weeble, but they don't fall down. Star Trek Online. I managed to get one of the actual ships you buy that I've been wanting for a very long time, thanks to a generous donation from one of our viewers. So thank you, viewer. Been playing South Park Phone Destroyer. I'm almost to legendary level. Still have not spent a dime on the game. It's actually a really good tower defense / MOBA in disguise. It's really, really good. So if you've not played it, I'm enjoying that very much. WWE 2K18, South Park Fractured But Whole.
I get what they did there.
Typo Man, which that's probably been one of the things off of the Christmas sale that surprised me the most. I think you can get the deluxe version for $4.27 or something, some weird price like that. It's a Limbo-like platformer, but you are made of the word or the letters that make up the word hero, and as you encounter other letters in the environment, you can push them around to make words that affect the environment. So you might have a platform that has a motor on it, and until you push together the letters that spell out the word on, it won't move. And you have to get it within a certain amount of distance. So there's a lot of playing with distance and vocabulary, and it's actually a really, really cool game. But definitely going for a kind of a horror feel to it. I like it a lot. Thanks to a phenomenal misunderstanding between a friend of mine and I, he's like, dude, you totally need to play Dead by Daylight with me. I said, fine, I don't like PvP, I'll play it with you. I bought it because it was on sale in the PSN store, and it turned out he had the PC version.
Nice.
And so now he's buying the PS4 version so that we can play together. But I have played a bit of it now, and it's the 1 versus 4 game player. So you've got 4 campers or survivors, and then the one bad guy. And you can choose to play either as a survivor, or it's not random. You choose it. I'm going to be the bad guy, or I'm going to play as the campers. And it's kind of really, in all reality, a tower defense game. Like when you're the bad guy. Because people have to make skill checks to turn on motors that drive the lights. And it's actually, as you're the camper, it's really hard to do because the timing window is really small. And so you'll end up making a bunch of noise, and that shows up on the monster's radar, and then you can go try and kill them. So it's kind of interesting. It's almost like a tower defense game where you move between the towers. But it's a lot of fun. I actually really enjoy it. And I don't like PvP type stuff very often. I've been playing... Oh, go ahead.
Out of curiosity, would you say it's slanted one way or the other in terms of difficulty?
Great question. So I believe it comes down to the same formula that you have in all those other games. It depends whether or not the campers know what the hell they're doing. So if the campers know what they're doing, like I played about 10 rounds as the monster, and I played about 20 rounds as the campers. And when I was playing the monsters, if it was 4 people that were not working together, then it was very easy to kill them all. But if you had a group of 2 or 3 people that were working together, what you'd find is one person would actually lure the monster out on purpose, while the other snuck to a generator way far away, and just basically made the monster chase them while they were doing work. So it really becomes, if it's a good camper team, I think it's actually stacked in the favor of the campers. If it's a bad camper team, then it's definitely stacked in the favor of the monster. But which tells me, to me, that's actually kind of balanced, because the monsters are super powerful. So there are a couple like minor quibbles that I have. Like once you pick a camper up, because you've got to hit them twice in order to down them. And once you pick them up, you scoop them over your shoulder like a sack of potatoes, and they can wiggle the left analog stick left and right. When they wiggle free, the monster is just like, oh, I don't know what happened, and I can't see them. That's a little weird for me. But that's really about my only complaint. The monsters all have different interesting powers, and this one does have Freddy Krueger, which is kind of cool because you put the campers into an alternate dreamlight state when you hit them, and they don't know it. They think they're still playing the game against you. The other campers have to come and wake them from the dream state. So that's kind of a cool, nobody else has that power. That's kind of a cool thing. So it's interesting. Been playing that. Been playing Super Hot BR. Man, if you ever want to feel like you belong in a John Woo movie, you need to play that game. It's so good. Also picked up Kickbeat on the PlayStation sale. It is a rhythm fighter game. It's okay. It's like $1 on the store. Is it worth your dollar and time? Sure. Is it worth $7.99 time? Maybe not so much. But for the price that they're selling at right now, yeah, pick it up. Good music in it too. Yomawari Midnight Shadows is a game about two sisters that are separated, and it's a chibi horror game.
What?
It's kind of like in the RPG Maker style, right?
Can you start playing normal stuff?
Yeah, so to be fair, this was actually my wife's game that I was playing with her.
Don't you dare blame her. She
is, and she totally wanted this game because she loved the art style. And it's a dark Japanese story about two sisters who are separated, and it struck home with her because she's not close to her sister right now and all that stuff. So haven't gotten too far into it. Interesting concept. It's very much a kind of survival horror meets RPG kind of thing, but it's good. I like it so far. I finished the South Park Stick of Truth before I started the Fractured But Whole. And then two other new games that I ended up playing. The first one is called Everspace. It is a roguelike first or third person, your choice, space combat game where you're playing a small fighter and you're trying to find enough resources and make these jumps to new sectors. The only reason I played that is because I was meaning to buy another game called Endless Space 2, Everspace, Endless Space, or it's really close, but I ended up buying Everspace accidentally, and then my wife was like, don't return it, it's actually fun, and I like it, and we should play it. I'm like, okay. So, Endless Space 2 was the one I was trying to buy, which if you are subscribed to our newsletter, I did a mini review on this morning. If you would like to subscribe to the newsletter, simply head over to our website, Gamersledge.com. It's one of the main stories on the front page right now. It's a Civ in space. So for all those people who said, oh, I wish Civilization had galactic scale things to deal with, there you go. That's what it is. It's really pretty, too. And it's in 4K. So, it's... I don't really think I need to say more than Civ in space, because that's really what it is. But it's fun. I I have been watching the hell out of The Ultimate Beastmaster on Netflix. It reminds me of if they combined Ninja Warrior with American Gladiators, and I'm down for it. It's super awesome. And the
So
funny
they're shooting foam balls at them as they run an obstacle course?
It's actually like probably the most brutal obstacle course I've ever seen developed, and Stallone is the one that developed it. He produced and made the show. But the interesting part to me and my wife is that it's an international show, so they actually have 7 different countries, and each country has its own pair of announcers. And the interesting thing is that the announcers actually all mix and mingle. Like France and Italy are always harassing each other because neither one wants the other one to win. And, it's stuff like that. It's actually, like, really entertaining. And the American guys, in the first season, it's Terry Crews. But I'm actually in the second season, and it's Tiki Barber and a comedian I've never heard of called Chris DiStefano. And I really don't like Chris DiStefano, but Tiki Barber is, like, really solid on commentary. But the rest of the commentators are all very enjoyable personalities, and it's not divisive in that the French and the Italians have this rivalry thing going, but at the end of the day they will all cheer for whoever got through or whatever win. There's a lot of good sportsmanship. It's just really, I really recommend it. It's surprising how good it is.
So do they just subtitle the
yes.
other?
Yes. Okay. And sometimes they speak English, or English, depending, appropriately, but most of the time they subtitle everything, so you can figure out what they're saying or hear what they're saying. So that's been a lot of fun. We're almost done with the second season. I think we've got 4 episodes left. I went back and have watched from seasons 19 through 21 of South Park because I realized as I finished Stick of Truth and started playing Fractured But Whole that there were a lot of things I did not know what was going on or what the references were to, and so I just went ahead and boned up on the 3 seasons so that I caught it, and now I get it. And I think the thing that I want to say is, Dave, I know you had asked, is it as good as Stick of Truth? I want to say that it is very good, but it is just a notch below the first one. The combat system is way better in this one, but it's like you could tell they handed it off and there was approval given, as opposed to Matt and Trey like penning every single aspect of the universe that they're in. So I mean, I don't know how to. I mean, it's still very good, so I don't want to say that it's bad or you shouldn't play it. But it is just a slight dip below the original, in my opinion.
That's understandable. I'm probably still going to play it when I get a chance to.
You really should, but you really should watch seasons 19 through 21 before you do so.
I'll probably have to do that then.
I also watched Bright. I think we all have very mixed opinions across the spectrum of us. I really liked it. They telegraphed a couple major plot points, but, when you get Will Smith to sign on, there is an inherent thing that goes with that. I think.
You have to get jiggy with it?
Yes. No.
Yeah. I just don't think I think it was a failure in editing, in my opinion, the things that bother me about it. I mean, yeah, there's some campy dialogue, but that can be forgiven. There's some cheesy twists, which can be forgiven, as opposed to cheesy poofs, which are always good. But there was like, oh, we're going to make this a movie about racial stuff. No, we're going to make this a chase. No, we're going to make this an action adventure movie. Yeah. and they never went back and fixed the other parts, so it's 3 different movies. Like they didn't know which movie they were making, and then they kind of glued them together. It just kind of comes off weird. I mean, if it had been 2 of them and then worked that way, and one of them was more subplotty, as opposed to focusing on this part in this part of the movie, and that part in that part of the movie, and this part in this part of the movie, it didn't transition well for me. I think it's just editing. I think that for me, I would have done it differently. But again, I'm not a movie producer, editor, writer, director, any of those things. I just watch them.
Well, I think for me, as this is the first foray into making a Shadowrun type universe on a major level, I was totally okay with it. It wasn't too body cop. It wasn't too buddy cop. It wasn't too drama. It wasn't too action. You're right. It was kind of a hodgepodge of things and scenes and pacing. But
it felt more like it should have been a 4-part miniseries.
I wish they would have made a miniseries instead, give it more room to breathe. But maybe that's what they'll do.
I could have done with some more lore. That was one of my big regrets of the series. Is seems like there's a really rich world here with a lot of lore, and they hint at a lot of stuff. But
Lexi absolutely flipped out over it. It's the first thing like that she's ever seen, that she's ever been exposed to, and she loved the elves. She loved the whole dark portions of it, and she loved the character of the orc. So I mean, I think
Jacoby, yeah.
Whoever
did that nailed it. That guy totally nailed that part. He really nailed that part.
And if you ever see him, you would have never guessed he was that guy.
Yeah.
British actor.
They're all British. Everybody's British.
Yeah, pretty much.
That happens all the time. I was actually really upset. I was upset again at the Golden Globes because I was happy that
Oprah's British.
Gary Oldman won. But I always get sad when I realize what his real voice sounds like.
What did he win for?
Was Nick Jacoby.
He was the whatchamacallit, the Churchill one.
Oh, right.
Whatever that is, which is great. The guy deserves awards. I mean, the guy has deserved awards since True Romance, as far as I'm concerned. I can't believe he didn't get the Oscar that year. But I guess it must be White Boy Day here.
I also watched Star Wars.
Oh, we're changing the subject from Gary Oldman.
Yes.
That's not respectful at all.
Well, Gary Oldman could be in episode 9, so we could make the tie there.
Could he be? Really? Don't tease me like that. That's not nice.
Anything's possible.
He's playing old Anakin.
I would be totally okay with that.
Old Anakin is dead.
Yeah, I know, that was the
Spoilers.
I would still be okay with that.
I actually loved the movie. I thought it was good with glimpses of greatness. It's probably my favorite of the main storyline. I think it maybe just beats out Rogue One as my favorite Star Wars thing. So, yeah.
Really? You still put it above Empire?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
I mean, I'm not judging. Right?
I think
Rogue, wrong, but you know.
Yeah, I know, but you know, I'm not.
He's speaking positively about Star Wars, so I'm just going to shut up.
Yeah. No, it's totally cool. That's why I don't want to harsh his mellow.
And then on the comics front,
but I think we're done with this conversation. Okay, I thought this was a conversation among friends.
No, it is. Go ahead. I didn't know you had something. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just shocked that it was like the number one above Empire, and that's all.
Well, Rogue One for me is still above Empire. I think Rogue One is one of the
really.
and you and I are in the minority of that. Most Star Wars people I know hate Rogue One, and I'm
Wait,
that is
seriously?
a great self-contained movie. I mean, yeah, it may introduce some dumb plot problems from timing of when it released versus the original, whatever. But as a self-contained movie, I thought it was excellent and is a great way to introduce people to the Force without having to have Jedis. Although technically, I would still say that one guy is a Jedi, but that's just me.
It's probably Force sensitive, at least.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was a great, and I thought this was actually better.
Wait, hold on a second. Let's step back a second. People hate Rogue One?
Yes.
A ton
Why?
of people.
A lot of people hate Rogue One.
Why?
People hate Rogue.
I hate nerds.
The
I hate
argument.
nerds so bad.
Well,
No.
I have to say I was a little weirded out by Rogue One when I first saw it because it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I was expecting much more The Dirty Dozen. That's really what I was expecting that movie to be, and it was not that. Over time, I mean, I love K2SO. I love the second half of that movie.
He is your spirit animal.
He is my spirit animal. But that first half of that movie is kind of rough. So I can understand it. People like Ian, who are very, dynamic in their likings of things. I see where the things are that they will latch onto and dislike. The pacing is a little weird, but
well, the big thing is that most people point to is that the ending scene, which I will not spoil, even though the movie's been out for a while. The ending scene makes Leia not look all that badass. And okay,
which I totally don't get. I mean, I could go into that. That is the one argument that I've been able to argue against. And if people can appreciate and respect logical and well done argument, they'll capitulate. If they can't, then there's no hope for them anyway.
I mean, I'm not saying that I don't have problems with The Last Jedi. I have like two super large ones that have to do with the resolution of the whole ship stuff. But beyond that, like when you look at the movie as a whole, I think it was a very good movie. They did some nice plot teases. They did some nice resolution for fans who've watched it for a long time. I really thought that was way better than Episode 8. Episode 8 to me was like exactly what I did not want to see on screen, and this was actually the promise. This was the promise of restarting.
They have a 35th anniversary Blu-ray of You're the Hunter from the Future. That is amazing.
And we've lost Dave.
Yeah, very much.
Episode 8, I really, really like. Episode 9, I love. Or other way around. Episode 7, I really, really like. Episode 8, I love. So yeah, I find very little wrong with it. I have a few nits on it. If you're saying that one scene you don't like, I kind of have to hate you because that is the best sci-fi ship scene since Adama jumped the Battlestar in Atmo.
Not saying I don't like it. It just creates a series of logic problems for the entire franchise.
Rules of war, baby. Rules of war.
I don't know if that's the case.
But if they were gonna, if that was ever an option or consideration, then why for one of the we'll have to talk about this afterwards.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going. Yeah,
we'll talk afterwards. How about that?
Yeah, we'll talk afterwards.
Some things are just so taboo that you just
a
certain person to do them.
Yeah.
So comics, volume. Let's see. I did 2 comics things this week, or in these last 2 weeks. The first one was my wife got me the second volume of Sex Criminals, and that still is an amazingly written comic book that really shouldn't work, but it's handled in a way that is done right, and it works really well. The other one that was a comic that I had read the first issue of like a while back, but I actually read a couple of the collected volumes. It's called I Hate Fairyland. Have you ever seen this one, Matt?
I started collecting that one. I stopped after like issue 5 or something because I appreciated it, but I couldn't rationalize spending the money on it. But yeah, grim, dark fairy tales as told by Scotty Young, sort of.
Well, I mean, basically, it's about a little girl who's kidnapped, for all intents and purposes, to Fairyland and given a quest to find a key so that she can go home and have a Fairyland adventure. Except that it doesn't work out, and she's not good at it. And so she's there for 32 years and becomes a woman in a little girl's body and basically exists to torment all of the people in Fairyland.
She's stuck as a little kid. She's traumatized and basically bored.
Yeah. And so the story arc that I read through, basically the queen, who is a nice piece of work, the Queen of Fairyland, tries to find a loophole that allows them to invite another little girl who is all rainbows and sunshines and puppy tails. And if that little girl gets the key and goes back through the door, that will rescind the original little girl's guest status, meaning they can all kill her. And so it becomes a race for her to figure out, and instead of trying to get the key, she instead puts all her brain power on how to stop the new little girl, making things only worse. So yeah, it's actually pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised at how the story writing went on it.
Huh. I may have to follow up on that one in trade because that was an interesting, and you always got to appreciate Scotty. You know, he does good stuff.
This is a little gorier than.
Oh yeah, this is definitely not the typical Scotty Young. This isn't the little X-Men or the no. This is NC-17 levels of violence. Oh this probably doesn't carry through on the camera, but we're talking comics and Avengers 675, because again renumberings, dropped today and starts the No Surrender storyline, and we lived, except you there, we lived through the 90s. We saw all the gimmicky covers where every comic was foil or this or that or the other thing. This has a lenticular cover, and it's front and back. I don't know if you can tell anything or not.
Well, wait,
it's front and back.
Hold still. You went. Oh! Every time you put it up there, it gets super grainy. Okay, great. So now tilt it just a little bit. Yeah, it's coming through a bit. It's kind of coming through.
But it is on. It is on the front and back.
And is it $7.50?
No, it's the standard one up. So instead of $3.99, it's $4.99. And this is actually the second lenticular cover. They did one last week too. I don't remember what book it was on.
It was Guardians of the Galaxy, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was. It was Guardians of the Galaxy with Adam Warlock on the cover. That's right.
What?
Yep.
Will you do me a favor, Matt?
I haven't read it yet, so I don't know.
No. Will you do me a favor? If you go back to the shop and they have another one, will you grab it?
Sure.
Because they don't have...
But these are... If they have another of the Guardians of the Galaxy, I'll nab it.
Yeah. Please. Because they don't have comic shops here.
Which seems so wrong. But these are really well done.
I don't understand that at all. I think that's a lie.
Yeah, I don't think you're looking hard enough.
We're on shenanigans.
Yeah,
we're calling shenanigans on that.
Probably
no. Shenanigans are called.
You know what? I'll see if I can find it.
These are not the gimmicky 90s. This is one of some of the best lenticular work I've seen, and on something this flimsy, because it's not hardbound.
Oh wow!
This is pretty amazing. So kudos to the Marvel team who put this together. I'm kind of pissed at you for doing this whole No Surrender thing, but you've won me over with your initial issue cover. So.
With your gimmick covers.
Your gimmick cover worked on me, even though I lived through the 90s and should be not affected by gimmick covers at all. Let's see if I can find that Warlock cover.
Oh, I have that silver cover of McFarlane's Venom.
Spider-Man? Oh, the Venom one.
Twitter. That's Venom 300. Is it sad that I know that?
No. Oh, we're talking before that. We're talking just like McFarlane's run on Spider-Man.
Yeah, the Spider-Man #1 that has 4,678 different covers.
Exactly.
But yeah, this is.
Oh, hold on.
This is the
hold on.
I got
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Hold on. Don't.
Wait,
Stop.
where's Warlock? I don't see Warlock.
The shiny dude.
All I see is Gamora and.
You're
right.
a little zoomed in.
Oh,
It's because you're not looking hard enough. You're not looking hard enough.
Okay, great.
And the back is lenticular, but it's an ad for a different comic. So that's even kind of cool. It's not a wraparound like the other one, but they still did the back lenticular and went to the trouble of making the Thing Human Torch comic ad lenticular too.
Thing and Human Torch? Who cares? Are we back to caring about that?
No, we are because they own them again, remember?
Oh,
they
that's
own
right.
them.
They own Fox again, so we can start caring about that again.
So
we may actually get a good Doctor Doom on screen.
We better. But they were actually teasing before the announcement of the sale. They were teasing the return of the Fantastic Four. So,
do you think do you think that's going to be phase 5 after all this? What are we in right now? Phase 4?
Well, we're entering phase 4 after Avengers 3.
Infinity War, right?
Yeah, after Infinity War.
After we get that, do you think they're going to go with Doctor Doom as the big bad
for phase 5 or for post phase 4?
Yeah,
they could. It depends on. It really depends on what they do. I mean, if they're going to go huge universe reboot, it's hard to say. But
I actually think now that they own the rights to all that stuff again, I think it's going to be Kang, because Kang is the quintessential Avengers villain, and we've never seen him because he's tied up in the Fox deal.
but at the same time, they're getting X-Men back into the deal.
well, you could definitely do a crossover with Kang. I mean, Kang, and that would help with all the reality resets too for recastings and stuff.
Exactly.
Because all Kang has to do is go back in time, or Immortus, or whichever name he's operating under, go back in time and muck with the past.
Yep. So I think that's probably a huge... I still think we will see the actual coming of Galactus, like, be woven into the Marvel Universe, which means we'll get...
Doom is the herald of Galactus.
Shut your mouth. It's going to be Silver Surfer. I will burn down Marvel if we don't get a good Silver Surfer. Seriously. Next, you're going to tell me Stan Lee's assaulting nurses that take care of him. Come on now.
Hey, what else is an old 100-year-old
Yeah,
guy?
I know, right? Exactly.
That'll be Stan Lee's cameo. He'll be the heraldor of Galactus. That'll be his cameo.
He's done everything else.
New Silver Surfer.
If he is, he's a... what the hell is the name of that? Air Rider? What's the herald's name? He's Airwalker.
Jordan?
No.
I'm not recalling what you're speaking of.
Firestorm?
No, not Fire Lord.
Firelord. Nova?
No.
Airmonger?
It's not Airmonger.
They added Monger to everything back in the 70s.
It's not Redshift. It's not Morgue. Airwalker. I was right. It is Airwalker.
That's stupid.
Yeah, he's like a robot. He doesn't talk, so they should totally make that Stanley.
Rom.
I will say, if they do this, we do have a, albeit slim, chance to see Golden Oldie. Aunt May given the cosmic power. Yeah.
Please no.
Yeah. You wouldn't like to see what's her face with cosmic power?
I wouldn't mind seeing.
Yeah, exactly.
Captain was the Captain Universe Spider-Man? Was it?
Yeah.
Captain
Is that what it is?
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Miguel O'Hara.
What are you do 2099?
Yeah, no 2099.
Yeah, tease. Pump the brakes there.
All right, let's get to the news. We have a ton of news to go through.
No, we don't. We can't. It's late.
How late is it? What
Not
time?
to mention, there really hasn't been a ton of news.
Yeah, so when I say a ton of news, it's a hyperbole. We'll get through it quick.
Your lies.
His lies lie.
Scrolling.
I'm still scrolling.
You see him scrolling.
We hate him.
It's because I'm writing nerdy.
His Twitter feed is wide and nerdy.
Fair enough.
I don't like the fact that I can't use...
Yeah, me neither, because it slows everything down. What?
I think we're...
22nd of December. That's about the right...
Yeah, that's
point
about
in
right.
time,
That
yeah.
is in that neck of the woods somewhere. So let's go.
Yeah, so let's go. Microsoft discontinues the Kinect adapter. The Kinect is dead. Long live the Xbox off.
This is something we knew 2 years ago.
This is something we knew when the first Kinect launched.
Pretty much.
But they actually did invest a lot of money into it. I don't get why they would make it so that it's built into the box instead of a...
Because why? Why would they do that? It costs money to do that. They
Well,
don't need to. People don't care.
But
Well,
it's
then
already a
just-
sunk
the
development
price of-
cost.
They
Yeah.
don't care. If nobody cares and nobody's using it, why are they gonna? They're gonna save money.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, if they came out with the adapter in like the first edition, like when the console first came out, maybe. But
Yeah, it's just it doesn't matter. Nobody uses it.
Cliffy B blames Player Unknown Battleground for Lawbreakers failing, which is the craziest straw man argument that I have seen in quite some time.
Well, I mean, anytime you have something that dominates the scene as much as that has, it's going to impact other entries into the arena, right? It's not the sole reason for its failure.
People were playing a good game, so they didn't play my game.
It's
I liked
It's-
Lawbreakers when the demo came out. But hey, that's just me.
I liked it. I mean, I did not like it. Excuse me. I did not mean to say I liked it. I want to be on the record. It's okay, but it's nothing that like I would even drop playing Overwatch to play. And apparently, a lot of people agreed because at its highest, I think its highest consecutive user base was 5,000 people on Steam. That is not good for a game.
No, but that's on PC. Like a game like that is really hard to do on PC. Like Overwatch for me would be hard to do on PC. I wouldn't be able to do it.
It has way higher numbers on PC than it does PS4 or Xbox. PC's like the main.
Well, I
place
guess if
to
you use a
play.
controller for your PC, but then why not just do the console? But
No, see, you're going at it backwards. Everybody uses the mouse and keyboard because controllers are slower, yes, and harder to use. But
interesting.
what did you like about Lawbreakers?
Well, it was just interesting gameplay for me, and I focused on one role. I didn't try and split my attention across the different roles. I focused on one role and did my job with that character as what I thought that role was. And for me, that made it enjoyable learning the character and what it had to do and figuring out what exactly my job was and doing well in that job. I guess I did well in the game, so...
Have you played Overwatch?
Yeah, I've played Overwatch a fair amount.
Good. So my question is, looking at the two games in a kind of side-by-side comparison, do you really think that there was anything that different in Lawbreakers from Overwatch in terms of the format of the rounds and what the goals were and what you had to do?
It was a lot faster.
It
Yeah,
was a lot
that's-
faster.
It's a lot faster paced, and it's hard for me to compare them side to side because they're different. Because it's four classes versus, or 4 or 5 classes versus an entire like
Pantheon.
whatever the roster's up to for Overwatch.
But I didn't think there was anything different, I guess is the best way to say it. It was faster, but it was
They-
still the same tropes that we've seen in practically every other game of that style.
Yeah, it was more capture the flag-ish, base capture type stuff.
Honestly, my favorite mode was like the blitzball mode or whatever it's called. You grab the ball and you run.
See, that's what I played the most of, and that's what I liked the least.
He was very good at it. He was schooling in that beta. He was doing very well in it. But.
Well, yeah, I when I saw their concurrent player base get down to 50, I knew they were kind of in trouble for reals. We'll see what happens. I don't know if this affects the studio that Cliffy B has now or what's going to happen next, but we do know that the company that funded them basically wrote down $32 million that they lost on producing the game.
We'll have Lawbreakers Battle Royale next month.
We don't need to talk about the release schedule. Rocket League reaches 40 million players, which that's pretty crazy. That's a huge number. And that game is amazing to begin with, so I get it. And there's not a lot of games that have that inherent fun factor built into it like that. I guess I don't think we've even talked about this amongst ourselves. The WHO, the World Health Organization, has actually classified video game addiction as an actual disorder. I tend to think, for me personally, that it's usually symptoms of a deeper disorder than just playing video games a lot.
Yeah.
But,
well, it could be the same could be said for like a drinking addiction or like a smoking addiction. If there's probably generally underlying figures and it's hard to make sure what exactly is the rules on it. But if someone is playing a game so much to the point where they're not eating or sleeping for great periods of time and it puts a risk on their health, then there's definitely a problem.
And to be fair, that is what they cited in there as their classification, was people who either die or starve themselves or get super sick from extended play periods of time. So, not your dad, not me.
Not even him.
Yeah, not even you.
Right.
But I still think it's a slippery slope because the difference is that alcohol is an actual known addictive substance that alters your brain state. Yeah, exactly. Whereas video games do have a chance to trigger dopamine and adrenaline, but those are naturally produced, and I think this is a slippery slope.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they do actually trigger the same kind of chemicals within the brain, but like you said, it does actually kind of go into this person may have an already addictive personality. Something is going to trigger it at some point. So I'm actually in the camp as well that something would be triggering this addictive personality. It's just a matter of what. So I'm not sure if really saying it's specifically video games. I mean, yes, there are things that can happen in video games that trigger certain sections of the brain that, actually trigger the addictive nature. But at the same time, I think it's kind of the person inherently has that addictive gene in their system already before it actually takes off to where it's like a medical condition per se.
Right.
Oh, GoPro is in a world of hurt.
Stop. Just don't even bring that up. Come on.
Okay. All right.
GoPro was out of business 2 years ago. They just didn't even realize it.
We do need to go back down the story, though. What the heck is with Friday the 13th being the third most downloaded game on the PSN last year? Was this thing just that much of a sleeper hit and nobody's talking about it? Or
I think
PSN
so.
downloads just that crappy?
No, I think actually Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th filled a niche that has not been filled in quite some time. And that is the survival horror genre.
But I mean, the only major personality I've heard talking about this at all is oh, now I've totally forgot his name. Used to be Beyond. Greg. Greg Miller.
Yeah, over at
Kind of Funny.
Kind of Funny, yeah.
He's the only major personality who I've heard talking about this game at all. So I mean, I knew there was a strong small player base, but enough to be number 3.
Honestly, that list itself entirely is just kind of depressing to me. But
well, I mean, I actually would have thought Destiny would have been higher than Call of Duty.
Neither of them should be up there, in my opinion. But
well, Call of Duty's always going to be
Call
up
of Duty is always
because it's got the shooter bros. But
Destiny has the shooter bros. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Now they have 2.
Everybody played Destiny, then got pissed off at it and went and got Call of Duty.
That's exactly what I think happened. Yes. Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm happy to see up there. Grand Theft Auto has been strong since launch.
How? That's like what, 4-year-old game?
5 years old, and the fact that they
PC gamers can't move on. That's their thing.
This is PSN though.
This is PSN, yeah. But the point
PSN
is,
gamers can't move on.
Obviously, we still have Minecraft in the top 10 for guys.
They just can't.
But keep in mind also that Grand Theft Auto has been releasing constant updates to the online side of it, and so people have been really hooked into that.
And how has not everybody in the world got at least 2 copies of Rocket League at this point?
I don't know. They only have 10x the number of PlayStation Network subscribers.
And then also for Rocket League on PlayStation, you need the PlayStation Plus to even do online competitive or even just normal gameplay online.
Which they found out the hard way because they were going to play, him and a friend were going to play Rocket League, and they had to play on my account because the Plus doesn't carry over for that for his account.
Nice.
So he got me a couple of trophies in Rocket League.
Nice.
It's stupid. And like, it's what, the 7th on there?
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. And then there's Madden and then basketball and
those are always going to do well though. They always do well.
I'm
just trying to figure out that Friday the 13th though. It's a number 2 theme, which I don't know. I don't follow themes, so I have no idea.
See, this was the surprise for me. Batman Arkham VR coming in at number 5 on the list.
You think that's too low or too high?
Yeah, too low. I truly thought it was going to be much higher on the list than that. And the fact that I Expect You to Die, which is a great game that you should play, beat Batman is a weird thing. Because that is a good game. I would have never really thought it would beat Batman Arkham VR.
I would have thought Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes would have been higher. I mean, I haven't played it, obviously, but the concept sounds really good.
Well, I mean, Austin and I played it on the computer a couple times, so I would think that the VR version would be pretty interesting to play. But I don't know.
And then Dave's favorite thing ever, God of War on the Vita.
God of War is a good game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but Persona 4... I'm really actually glad to see Persona 4 Golden still up there, because that is an amazing game, especially when you play it on the Vita.
Star Wars Battlefront 2, but not the Battlefront 2 you're thinking of at number 9.
Not the one you're thinking of at all. All right, so that's good.
Okay, fixed it. Nice.
Hold on. All right.
That's not really news. It's just kind of something I thought was awesome. Sony expects their VR library for the PSVR to nearly double to like 108 new games this next year. I'm still pretty iffy on it because you look at Accounting, right? Accounting is made by the Rick and Morty creators. On Vive and Oculus, it is free. On PlayStation, it is $10. And it's like, I get that there's licensing and you got to make a profit, but the prices on the PSVR are still way too high, in my opinion, for most things. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, that all they had to do is sell like 100, and they outsold the Wii U. So that's
the
fine.
Switch outsells the entire lifetime of the Wii U in Japan. Also, which I know it's a little bit farther up ahead, also outsells the PS4 as the fastest selling console of all time.
Which obviously this perceived shortage of systems doesn't actually exist.
No, there's no shortage right now. I've seen in stores, there's plenty of Switches to be had if people want them right now.
Yeah. I think they are to that point now, but
yeah.
it was for a while. HTC unveiled the new Vive Pro VR headset, effectively doubling the resolution of the current headset, and they have a wireless adapter. The wireless adapter looks ultra cool. I really want it, but it's like $299. So I'm not sure if I will ever get it, but still cool. I knew Matt would be very pleased with this one. According to a retailer that is very good about predicting things, they put a listing up for a Burnout Paradise HD remaster. How many of us would not buy it again? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of us.
The only racing game I've ever really truly enjoyed.
That game is amazing. I so want it.
Wait, can you say that again? Because I'm not sure I'm understanding what the question was, because I answer things backwards.
Burnout Paradise remake. Would you buy it? Yes or no?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. Probably not Paradise, because I was actually more of a fan of the more structured Burnout games.
Where's the kick button?
I get it. I understand. You like Burnout Paradise, and it's not a bad game. But I really loved the whole concept of the earlier Burnout games, where you had those puzzle levels, like the crash levels. I'm sorry, the structured crash levels were the best things ever in those games, and you lost that in Paradise.
Well, it does have one of the most elegant online systems ever, though. I mean that. I
get that, and I appreciate that, but I don't care.
Matt, I'll race with you.
You can be my wingman anytime.
So we got some. No, I was making a heart. We got some news about Krypton, that it could include the Green Lantern, Omega Man, and potentially Superman.
Yeah, no. They're lying.
Nope.
They're lying to get people to try and watch that crap.
They are saying that it is going to have, which one of the...
You broke it.
Which one of the time travelers is it? It's not Rip. It's...
Booster Gold?
No, it's not Booster. It's... Scroll. They're saying the Phantom Zone gives them the ability to deal with other space and time, but that's not what... Adam Strange. So,
no.
Yeah.
They're liars.
So we could actually see some connections with the current... I don't know. We'll see. It actually sounds more interesting than I was up for it.
Yeah, they're throwing that at the wall now because they know nobody actually wants to watch it. So they're just like, hey, would you guys watch if we had Green Lantern?
Yes.
What if we had obscure people like Omega Man?
Yes.
And they're trying to see if there's any kind of engagement whatsoever in the online community. That's all it is. They don't have any of this planned. They didn't have any of this planned. They don't intend to do any of this stuff unless people lose their minds over it. So if you want to feed into that and get a crap show that has some sort of Green Lantern in it, then hey, feed into it. Go ahead.
Versus just a crap show? Okay, I will.
It's No, they shouldn't do it. They shouldn't do the show at all. You know what they should do? They should do a show that's worth watching.
I agree. But I also think that I would be surprised if Jeff Johns would actually let a crappy show out. I would think he would nix it before actually letting it go into production.
Yeah, money has a weird effect on people.
It is possible that we may get a solo Kitty Pryde movie. What do you guys think about that? Yay, nay?
It depends on how they do it.
I'm all for more Kitty Pryde.
I can't see where I don't know any solo Kitty Pryde storylines, so I have nothing to base an assumption off of.
Well, if they do if they go back and do like the old Kitty Pryde Wolverine storyline,
right? But that's not a Kitty Pryde movie, then. No, that's a Wolverine movie featuring Kitty Pryde.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I'm just saying that would be awesome.
Now, if she goes into space and gets Lockheed, we're talking somewhere.
That is actually what they're talking about, is having her be with Lockheed. So that'd be interesting. But wouldn't they have to introduce Magic at that point?
Well, Magic is in what? She's in one of the things coming up.
Well, I'd rather have I'd rather have Excalibur first.
Don't worry, we'll wipe it all out soon anyway.
Yeah.
No, if we're going to do that, we need Excalibur first. I love Captain Britain.
Speaking of swiping it all out, MoviePass hits 1.5 million subscribers. 500,000 of them came in less than 2 months due to the promotion that they were running where you could get an entire year for $89 or $6.95 a month, basically.
Yeah, they're the new snottiest people on the internet.
They've replaced CrossFit.
Yeah, they've totally replaced CrossFit. I see these people all the time in threads where they're talking about people living responsibly and everything like that. And the first thing they do is they bring up well, I have MoviePass. It doesn't cost me anything to see movies. Go to hell. It's just seriously. They're talking about some guy was railing into a single mom that's trying to afford clothes for her kids, and he was crapping on her because he has MoviePass. Seriously, go to hell.
Well, one thing I was just looking up was Excalibur because I couldn't remember what that was, but and then I switched to Lockheed, and I saw an interesting thing that would make an odd tie-in for them to be able to do it now that Marvel has the Fox license. But apparently Lockheed was at some point a member of SWORD.
If that was after.
I'm just trusting Wikipedia, which I know is a risky thing, but
that was after Excalibur.
Yeah.
Way after Excalibur.
I don't know. I don't know the timeline. I'm just saying what I saw.
You do know the timeline. You have Wikipedia.
If I didn't have the timeline, I wouldn't have found time to...
Don't lie to me.
All right.
Let's talk about something that I never thought would happen. Twitch signs a 2-year exclusive agreement with Overwatch League for $90 million.
I totally did research for this.
And by the way, I watched the inaugural match, and the San Francisco Storm had their asses handed to them in a clean sweep across the board by the LA Valiant.
It's okay. This is $10 million less than the investment in XFL. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, you know why this one will be successful, right?
Because why?
Vince McMahon's not a part of it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because esports has so much respect, is the goal? Here's my thing: is the goal for them to get mainstream acceptance of this? Is that what the investment is, or is it just a?
I think it is, or I would contend that esports already. It's not to ESPN levels.
But I mean,
would
unlike the
contend
online
it's
community
already
with
there.
like Twitch.
Yeah. I would contend it's already mainstream.
I'm curious if they're going to be able to recoup that kind of investment. That's a lot of money for 2 years.
I would kind of think they'd have to have some kind of monetization plan for ads or whatever.
But the thing is, that's not always the case because a lot of these companies are flush with, investor cash. So they just kind of do whatever just to try and get numbers and everything like that. Like that's one of the big complaints of a lot of these online companies over the past few years. Like especially like Twitter. Has Twitter ever actually turned a profit yet?
No, and they have no viable business model either.
Right.
So that's not
but yet
Twitch.
they're flush, but yes, they're flush with cash, and it's kind of. I'm sorry, it is still like the case with a lot of places, even Twitch. I mean, because Twitch has gotten a lot of investment money from other sources.
But remember that Twitch is ad generated unless you are a Prime member.
I get that. But the thing is, like, they still have money to throw around to be, like, kind of, a loss-leading kind of service at this point. Because that's just what they do when they have too much cash.
Or is this just Amazon money? Is Amazon just backing this, trying to buy out the esports?
Well, I mean, that's kind of where I was headed with it. Is I think it's actually a good deal for both sides. It's a win-win because it gives the Overwatch League now probably the most credibility in the arena today because they beat out League of Legends with the value of this, and at the same time, it also brings Twitch up a notch because they're now associated with, oh, you love Overwatch, you go to Twitch to watch Overwatch.
Watch Overwatch.
Yeah,
Who watches
I know, right?
the Overwatchers?
Who watches the Overwatchers? Twitch does.
Although OWL is just, I don't like that acronym for it. It's an OWL, and Overwatch does not, in my brain, make any association whatsoever.
I will say that the production was super professional. The commentators were great. They still have a problem where it's when they pull out to do the wide shot of the audience, it's a bunch of people facing forward looking at a giant screen. With no movement, no anything. And then when they cut to the competition and they're between matches and they're showing the players, it's people sitting there picking their noses or, flexing their knuckles. There's nothing going on. That's the downside when you're not in the match.
I'll be honest. The few times I have tried to watch an esports broadcast on anything, and I'm not saying that the broadcasters are doing a bad job, but it's the same problem I have with most sports. Oh, Johnny Q just football topped the hoopter and now he's going to DPS the Hungable, and oh my god, and now he just hooper doop the frumper derp. I have no idea what any of it means. It's like it's very obvious that he's been exploiting the Huda Buddha on the Wada Big G. I mean, it's like I have no idea what you just said.
And all Mitchell heard of that entire conversation with, "We're all old. We're all old. We're all old."
Partially, but I mean, like one stream of like a national competition for gaming that I thought was done really well. Since we're kind of on this topic, was the Pokemon one. They do their system very well. The commentators know what they're talking about. Their previous competitors, and it's very simple. They keep it very simple and explain it when there's stuff that might be otherwise complicated.
But I think that's any televised sporting event, Matt. They all have their own jargon and their own veil for you to pierce for understanding. That's why League of Legends players are so goddamn smug all the time because they know that it's an impenetrable bubble of, oh, well, you didn't use this lane to go through the jungle but screw off. Who cares? I get it. I get what you're saying, Matt, but at the same time, I think you're going to find that in any televised thing ever.
I think so, but I think they just and I'll agree with Mitchell. I think the Pokemon broadcast I was kind of watching over his shoulder did do a good job with the color commentation. I think that's one thing that these things need more of is the good color people that will restate what was just said in English, right?
Yeah.
So you've
And basically, what it boils down to is which guy that's under the age of 20 that can click the mouse faster than the other guy. Who hasn't been crippled by carpal tunnel yet is basically who wins.
That's more the fighter scene, but
Yeah.
Mitchell's gonna have an aneurysm. Let's move on.
Because Mitchell's almost at that age where he's going to be able to click slower, so he's not going to be able to compete. Is he coming to that realization?
No, all I know is that he rages against people on Smite because he just plays with random people, and I don't understand most of what he's raging about, but he gets very irate about it. So,
Just the general ingrate every now and then.
All right, loot boxes in PUBG. What?
Yeah, loot boxes in PUBG. So today, or yesterday, they published the drop rates for their new loot boxes. And it was found that if you want a checkered bandana for your character, it will only take about probably 8 years to get. Because the drop rate is 0.01% chance, and you have a maximum attempt of 6 tries per week under their system. So it will probably take an average of 8 years to get.
God, I care.
Dave, you okay? Are you
No, this is the kind of stuff that breaks me. It's just like I can't.
He can't even. He just turned into a teenage
This is when I can't even. It's like seriously, and like people are losing their minds over this.
Speaking of things you can't even, how the heck did Jumanji beat Star Wars this last week?
Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy.
Because it's been like 3 weeks. Somebody has to take it.
What is Jumanji?
It's got The Rock and Jack Black. People love watching The Rock and Jack Black.
You put The Rock and Jack Black in Star Wars, and we're going to have a formula there.
Seriously, and it just annoys me because nobody watched Be Kind Rewind.
I don't know what that is.
I'm sure some people did. But.
Oh, see, I hate everybody.
I did. All right. Cyberpunk 2077 got its first Twitter update in 4 years, and it was one word. It was
bloop or something like that.
Yep. Leave a message after the beep. It was beep, and it created a whole bunch of memes and broke the internet. Pokemon Go is discontinuing support for Apple devices that are older than iPhone 5s. Or iPhone 6s, excuse me. So if you have an iPhone 5 or below, you will not be able to play Pokemon Go anymore.
Really, iPhone
Black Panther breaks the record for the most pre-sale tickets of any Marvel movie, according to Fandango. Matt said there is no hype for that movie. The hype isn't real.
It apparently is. I just have seen zero evidence of it.
Yeah,
I had to.
Ian's excited for it, but that's barely a barometer for anything. Ian's excited for everything until it happens.
I'm excited for it.
That is not true. Ian is most definitely not excited about everything until it happens. I would contend to go the other way and say Ian is upset about most things.
No, he usually doesn't get upset about them until after they happen.
No,
talk to him about the Solo movie.
Yeah, that's
okay. Well, we agree on that one, but
I did have to fix the Black Panther stuff tonight. At 0 hour, I was just like email my friend, my partner in crime for all the superhero movies, and I was like, dude, I was like, I just saw this article. I thought we were going to be able to sneak in. I was like, we need to get this rectified. Yep. So we have Saturday at 10 p.m. tickets.
There you go. Snowpiercer is turning into a TV series on TNT with Jennifer Connelly and Daweed Diggs, other people. I'm super excited about it.
No.
I'm not. TNT. What have they made that's ever been good? Nothing.
Oh my god. That's it. That's all the news. That's probably
What?
a good place to stop.
No. You can tell me what they've done that's been quality.
TNT?
Yeah.
They actually have one right now. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's the...
Can't be that good then.
Shush.
No.
TNT.
Not gonna shush. Because if it was good, you'd be like all over it.
I can see it in my head. I don't remember the name of it. It's about...
That must be fantastic then. If you could just see it in your head and not remember anything about it.
It's a period piece. It's a Victorian piece about a guy who studies recently deceased people.
What's the name of the guy?
I don't remember.
Trying to put me to sleep? What?
Although, what's Snowpiercer?
It's a movie.
It's a book.
Matt.
And
what
it's
have
awesome.
How has he not seen Snowpiercer?
I haven't seen Snowpiercer, so
Matt,
You haven't?
no.
how
I
have
haven't.
you not seen Snowpiercer?
It's been on the list. It's
It
just,
has
I'm salty.
Chris Evans in it. You have to watch everything with Chris Evans in it because
This is
everything
true.
Chris Evans in.
The Alienist.
Oh.
That's the name of it. The Alienist.
Dude, nobody's heard about that. Nobody watches that. That is crap.
That is not.
isn't Longmire TNT? Because that's a
Yes,
pretty,
Longmire is also TNT.
that's probably the one I know of that's really got some good reviews.
Longmire is another thing
And
that
this-
nobody's ever heard of.
This has good reviews. Also, oh, I don't know if I can get it. There we go.
I can't see what that is.
It says The Alienist
Yeah.
with some pictures of
it's-
people we
nobody-
can't see.
Nobody.
There.
There is not one single person on the internet talking about that.
Shut up. You
No,
are so
I'm-
not correct.
No. I'm being serious. I've never heard of that.
I have heard of it.
Way.
Like nobody. I've never seen that come up in any conversation where somebody is
Okay,
like,
Dave,
you
I
know
gotta
what?
go watch the final episode of Runaways because I haven't done that yet. So stop.
Okay. So this is the part of the show where we like to thank all of our patrons. So thank you,
Wait, we skipped
Justin.
one.
Thank you, Naomi. Thank you, John. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Bobby. And thank you, Arturo and Regina. So thank you all for being patrons. If you'd like to be a patron, you can head over to patreon.com/gamersledge, where you can get your name on every show we do for as little as $1 a month. That's going to bring us to final thoughts for this evening while I pull up the outro, which is at youtube.com/c/gamersledge. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter while I'm at it. It goes out every weekday. And usually it's a quick read, some fun. But we highlight a couple important news stories of the day and break them down a little bit further. Let's start with you, Mitchell. Final thoughts
Me?
for tonight. Yeah.
Final thoughts? Ys 8, one of the best games I've played in a while. Probably my game of the year, arguably, with Pokemon. So since I was on the game of the year, I felt like I should say that.
Matt, final thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I should have been prepared for this, but I wasn't. Last Jedi soundtrack. It's a solid soundtrack, but surprising lack of original songs. It's a lot of remixes, a lot of redos of previous tracks. So I was just kind of surprised by that there wasn't really a standout new track on that, really. So I guess that's my final thoughts. A little bit of a downer, but it's still really good. It's still classic Star Wars, John Williams music, so it's not bad. It's just interesting.
Dave, final thoughts?
The Alienist. So more people have heard about it now because of our podcast than have heard about it before this on the internet. I'm just saying.
Oh, gosh.
Are you sure about that?
Well, I will contend that my final thought for the week is that of the PlayStation. Last week of the PlayStation Store holiday sale is going on right now. one of the new things they added this week is actually a $50 game that has been reduced down to $10, and that is a Sherlock Holmes game. I have looked at several of the videos for it before we bought it.
The one for the Sega CD?
The what?
Nothing. He's being drunk, Dave. Ignore him.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Remember they did the old Sherlock Holmes games for when CD-ROM games for the TurboGrafx?
Yeah, no. I think it's called Sherlock Holmes and the Devil's Daughter, if I remember right. But it looks really interesting. The gameplay looks interesting as well. So we're going to start that here next week for Lexi's birthday. But I definitely recommend checking that out. And yeah, that's it for me. So we'll end the show as we always do with a piece of wisdom to carry you through your week. Hey, Mitchell.
What?
Don't feed into it.
How do snails fight?
Slowly.
No, man, they slug it out. Until next week, game on.
Did you hear my
the
cat?
parakeet moaning in the background?
that was Weebles going, what the F? Alien.